of our students. We'll be getting started here in just a few minutes. Welcome to all of our wonderful students. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll get started here in just a couple of minutes. All right, welcome to all of our students. Hopefully we got all of you. I was looking through and trying to see all of your names. Sky, Erica, Mia, Chloe. Welcome everyone, Grant, Anthony, Jake, all of you who have joined us today. We are so excited to have you here for the Cal Poly virtual welcome reception. We just want to take a moment to say we know that these have been some just very uncertain and rather scary times with everything that has been happening with the coronavirus pandemic. And so first and foremost, we just want to say that we are so grateful that you took the time to spend with us today to learn more about Cal Poly, given everything that's happening. And we hope that all of you students and your families are safe and healthy. So just to give you a quick introduction into who I am, my name is Mandy Martin, Admissions Officer and Strategic Partnerships Coordinator here at Cal Poly. I work with the Office of Admissions and Recruitment, and I am joined by Cal Poly colleagues, a student and alumnus, and several other admissions representatives today, and we are here to answer all of your questions about Cal Poly. A little bit about me is I'm originally actually from the Central Valley of California, like most of you. I am originally from Merced, which is not too far from where most of you live. I moved to San Luis Obispo about 6.5 years ago, give or take, and I absolutely fell in love with the area, the campus, and our amazing community of people that we have here. I am so grateful just to be a part of Cal Poly and the San Luis Obispo community. So firstly, welcome to all of our newly admitted students. We are so excited to have you here, and welcome to our parents and supporters that are joining us today as well. We appreciate you, all of you, being here today. So firstly, I would like to also graduate our newly accepted students. We designed this virtual welcome reception just for you, given the circumstances of what's happening. We wanted to make sure that you felt acknowledged and recognized and honored for your accomplishments. You really should be so proud of everything that you've achieved, from graduating high school to getting into Cal Poly. We understand that you've worked really hard throughout your high school career. You've spent late nights studying, you've spent so much time writing essays and prepping for your exams. And now all of that hard work has finally paid off. And you've been selected to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, so congratulations. Cal Poly, just so you know, it is a very selective university. And just to give you a few numbers, in California this year, we had over 46,000 applications just within the state of California. And we had a little over 12,500 students that were selected from within our state. So if you do the math there, that is about a 27% acceptance rate. So you all should be so, so proud of that accomplishment. And also, we really would like to thank all of our parents and supporters and families that have taken the time to learn more about Cal Poly with your student and that have also joined us for the reception tonight. We know that family is so important, and it was your love and your support that really helped guide your student all of these years and really supported them to reach this point in their lives and to really gain this achievement of college admission. So thank you for being here as well. And so now we wanted just to give you a few quick reminders before we get started with our official programming. So for all of our students here today, I see that most of you are already on mute. That's great. If anybody is not on mute, if you could mute yourself just while we're presenting, just so there's no sound overlap, we would really appreciate that. However, if you want to leave your camera on, you are more than welcome to do that. And that way you can see the faces of other newly admitted Cal Poly students from your high school or from your area. So if you would like to show your face and do that, you are more than welcome to, and we would love to see you. So that is totally up to you. You can also leave your camera off as well. We also wanted to let you know that while we are giving this virtual presentation, you are absolutely more than welcome to ask us questions in the chat box. So feel free at any time if you want some clarification or a question, just pops up that you'd like an answer to, just feel free to type in that question in the chat box, and we have several admissions representatives on call ready to answer those questions for you. But also, it is important to note that we will have a special time during this presentation with our Cal Poly panelists, where you will be able to ask those questions and get those answers. So we will do a live Q&A session as well. But again, a chat box is just another way for you to get those questions answered. And so even though we're not able to meet with you in person, the goal of this welcome reception is really to introduce students and families to learn a little bit more about Cal Poly and to get all of your questions and concerns answered. So we will go over some important dates, deadlines, and resources for you. And one thing that we know is you probably chose to apply to Cal Poly maybe because of the academics, the strong academics that we have here on our campus, and that value of starting in your chosen major day one, of having that learn by doing hands-on experience. So you're probably considering what it really means to spend the next few years of your life here at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, and what a degree from Cal Poly could help you achieve in the future. So we do have a few Cal Poly proud individuals here with us today, and they will all be able to introduce themselves and have a chance to speak about their experience and their ties to Cal Poly. So first, let's give a little introduction into Cal Poly as a campus. So Cal Poly, in case you're not familiar, it is actually a public university. We are part of the California State University, or CSU system, and we are located in San Luis Obispo, California. So for all of my Central Valley students out there, you might be from Delano, Tulare, Bakersfield, Fresno, all of those cities. San Luis Obispo is only 2.5 hours from you. So that means that you'll be able to have your own unique college experience in a beautiful area, but you'll be only a 2.5 hour drive home on the weekends. So you can get home to see mom and dad and the whole family on weekends anytime you're feeling homesick because it's so close. And we're located on the beautiful Central Coast, as most of you might know. So we are about 10 minutes driving distance from Pismo Beach, Avila Beach, Morro Bay. So mom and dad, you can come down on the weekend and take a vacation and come visit your student, come check us out. But it really is a gorgeous area. Cal Poly is surrounded by green rolling hills, hundreds of hiking trails. Our weather is about 70 to 75 degrees almost the entire year round. It is a huge college town, so we have about 45,000 people in our city, but we have a little over 22,000 students on the Cal Poly campus, so a really big student population in San Luis Obispo. And a fun fact that I like to share about the area, collegerankings.net actually did a survey a few years ago, and they talked with students and current current students and alumni from across the entire nation. And they were talking to students from college towns across the US, trying to figure out where students were the most happy, the most satisfied with their experience. And what they found was that students from San Luis Obispo gave some really positive feedback, because collegerankings.net ended up ranking San Luis Obispo as the #1 college town in America, if you can believe that. So that is really exciting. And that just shows that students really love their Cal Poly experience. They're so proud and they feel supported in this community. And so one thing that we want you to think about when you're deciding between colleges is making sure that you choose a university where you feel comfortable, where you feel supported, where you feel accepted, and a place that you can envision yourself calling home for the next 4 or so years. And so with that being said, here is a sneak peek of where you could call home for the next 4 years.
How you start each new day says a lot about you. At Cal Poly, we begin as we always have, by putting knowledge into action. We call it learn by doing. And for more than a century, we've made this idea the center of everything we do. We believe that experience is part of the curriculum. We don't see any difference between education and the real world. We know that it's the best way to learn and keep learning for the rest of our lives. So when we begin our day, we dive right in, head first and hands-on, because we're not satisfied to sit on the sidelines of our own education. And we know that if we want to make an impact on our world tomorrow, we have to put in the work today. If at first we don't succeed, we rework, rearrange, reimagine, redesign, rethink, rebuild, and refuse to give up. Because our state, our nation, and our world need us to be ready from day one, to take what we learn by doing and use it to help build a brighter future. How you start each day says a lot about you. How you spend your day says even more about how you'll start your career and how you'll live your life. Because it's one thing to be ready one day, and it's quite another to be ready day one.
All right, so now that you've seen the video, I want to go ahead and introduce you to our amazing Cal Poly panelists. So each member will give you an introduction into who they are and how they're connected to Cal Poly, and they'll also share more with you about Cal Poly academics, student life, and important resources for newly admitted students. So we'll go ahead and begin with a current student at Cal Poly. So I would like to introduce Gabriela Rubio, who is a second-year biological sciences student.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Or can everyone hear me? Good. Okay, so I'm a second-year biology major, and I am from the Central Valley as well. I'm from Delano, California, so it's like 5 minutes away from McFarland, like 30 minutes away from Bakersfield. So we're not really well known, but you know, it's like I love the city that I'm from. And so I decided to go to Cal Poly because I figured with the major that I got in with that it would be the best choice for me, because Cal Poly's Learn by Doing motto was the reason why I decided to choose Cal Poly. And I figured that the experience that I would receive going to school there would help me a lot in the career, like when I graduated. And so like with my experience with Learn by Doing at Cal Poly, I do a lot of labs, you know, like hands-on learning. So there are like 3 hours a week when I do have the labs, and it's just like really, you get a lot of hands-on experience. And I feel like being a bio major, it's like a lot of experience that you need like once you graduate. So I think that experience was, like having that experience is very useful. And so is there anything else you want me to add?
Yeah, whatever you'd like to add. Anything about you, your involvement on campus?
Oh, so on campus involvement, I am involved in a multicultural sorority. So it's a professional sorority. So that's like kind of how I found my community at Cal Poly, because I know it is hard with the lack of diversity there. You know, it's like very intimidating once you go to Cal Poly, because I did experience culture shock, and it was very hard for me kind of just to like be able to just get to know other people. But then once I joined, you know, my club, and I was able to finally find people that I can relate with, and it's just like being able to find that community and being able to connect with others, and just being able to find the people that you can be yourself around with.
Thank you so much, Gabriela, for sharing. We really appreciate it. All right, so our next Cal Poly representative is Dr. Jaime Patton, who is Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, Diversity, and Inclusion.
Thank you, Mandy, and welcome to everyone that is with us today. First of all, I just want to say congratulations on your offer of admissions to Cal Poly. I know you worked very hard to achieve this goal, and I hope you truly enjoy and will choose to join this thing we call the Mustang family. I joined Cal Poly 2 years ago, and I serve as an Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs. My preferred pronouns are he, him, his. My job is to help cultivate a healthy campus climate where everyone feels like they can be their unique self. In addition, I work with university partners across the campus to make sure everyone feels, again, welcome here at Cal Poly. In my 2 years here at Cal Poly, I found it to be very similar to my college experience. I actually went to a university that was approximately 3 hours away from home and 3 hours away from a major city, where I didn't have many friends. I didn't know anyone when I went there. But it was one of the best state schools, despite many of the shortcomings that, the challenges I found. But being one of a few, even African-American students, I managed to find ways to build community. And although that environment sometimes was much different than when I grew up, I settled in and was able to make the university into my home away from home. I achieved in the classroom and connected to faculty who supported the experience and most of all believed in me. You'll find that same kind of nurturing, supportive community here at Cal Poly. Our faculty and staff want to see you thrive, whether it's programming and services, or to help you academically or financially, or events and other opportunities to help you build community. We have a variety of resources, again, that will help you contribute to your educational well-being. What impresses me about Cal Poly is, again, looking at all the connections that our students have to faculty, the opportunities when we talk about learn by doing, and the opportunities that you will have from day one to work with researchers and others who are not only interested in their profession, but are interested in seeing you grow and seeing you thrive. The fact that 90% of our 950 of our student leaders actually participate in something called Week of Welcome, where it's a peer education model of orientation, where you have opportunities to connect with other upperclassmen from day one as you learn about what it's like to be a Cal Poly Mustang. One of the things that I'm proud of in the last 3 years, we actually instituted a program called the Cross-Cultural Experience, and the CORE program, which stands for Creating Opportunities for Representative Engagement, where we're encouraging students of all backgrounds to get involved and become connected from day one when they come to Cal Poly. Something else that impresses me is just the number of students who do community service. Over 50% of our students complete community service on a regular basis, not just one time over their 4 years, but throughout their time at Cal Poly. So the opportunity to not only get an education, but think about civic learning and giving back to the San Luis Obispo community is critical. And that's something that really impresses me about our students. Lastly, when you think about success rates and the opportunities that come to Cal Poly will create for you, just knowing that 93% of our students are working directly correlate in a profession that relates to their majors. So in many ways, what you're coming here to study is that's what you'll be doing, and we're going to prepare you to do that. We have many different programs and events that will hopefully affirm your many intersecting and your many identities that I get a chance to work through and oversee, including our cross-cultural centers, which include our Gender Equity Center, our Men and Masculinities programs, and our Multicultural Center. We also have a space called the Black Academic Excellence Center, and a space for our Dream students called the Dream Center. Each of those spaces are uniquely designed with staff and prepared for staff to really help meet the needs that many of our students have. We have many partnerships across our institution, not just in student affairs, but with our ethnic studies departments throughout many of the colleges, and including our Office of University Diversity and Inclusion. Community is an interesting word right now when you think about it, especially as we're in this international pandemic. When you think about this social distancing. So community is a special place, and I have no doubt that when we return in your class, when you get here in fall of 2020, we will be taking additional and extra care in how we create that community. We often think of physical spaces where people come together, our city, our town, and in our case, our campus. And one of the things that I love to say is that we truly abide by, and one of the things that attracted me to Cal Poly was this concept of love, empathy, and respect. When I was researching institutions that I was hoping to partner with in a space where I can work and raise my family and live, love, empathy, respect was one of those things that actually stood out to me. And it's something that came about from a group of faculty members who really wanted to ensure that our students knew that they were welcome and they would be respected and treated with love in any interaction that they have. And that groundswell has grown over the last 5 years, to really become a network of individuals who are interested in seeing you succeed. That is something unique that I've seen, and I haven't seen across any institution that I've had the opportunity to serve. Yeah, I look forward to having students back together. Quiet as kept, we're at an interesting place right now as you're completing your last couple quarters in high school. We find ourselves in an interesting place at Cal Poly, but still students are at the heart of what we're doing. All the decisions that we're making, we're keeping students first, keeping students at the center of those thoughts, and seeing how we can raise their voices to make sure that we're having an equitable and successful situation where everybody feels like they can thrive. Our goal in student affairs is simply to match the quality of our out-of-class experience with the experiences that you're going to have in class. One of the things that I reminisce upon often is my opportunity to live on campus. I lived on campus for the first 3 months of my time here at Cal Poly, and just to see all the many laboratory opportunities, see all the things that students are doing both day and night, I was truly impressed. And it was not just academic stuff. So again, our goal is to make sure that we're matching that out-of-class, that in-class experience in student affairs. So again, we are here to help you achieve your goals, to help you thrive. We have many different services, not just in our multicultural communities, but when you think about our Veterans Center, our Student Academic Services, Cal Poly Scholars, Trio Achievers, and the list goes on of all of the different networks that we have in place to see you succeed. You'll hear from others on the call today, in this reception today. But again, I hope that you accept this offer of admission to Cal Poly. You've earned it. You worked hard, and we look forward to having you as part, or I look forward to having you as part of this Mustang family. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patton, for sharing with us about your experience and connection with Cal Poly. So next up, we have Dr. Josie De Leon, who is Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer.
Well, good evening, everyone. First of all, I also want to echo that strong welcome that's been given by my colleagues. I just wanted to tell you that there isn't a better way to spend an evening than learning about Cal Poly. I've been at Cal Poly for 3 years. I came here from another state, and one of the things that really attracted me to Cal Poly was the interest in really developing diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and bringing it to the center of the institution. And that was so appealing to me. You heard from Gabriela about diversity that not being what she had experienced prior and what she had expected. And I want you to know that we are working very hard as a university to make that, make the changes that we need to make to increase our diversity. Some of the work that Dr. Patton talked about has come about in the last 2 to 3 years, since both he and I have been there, really focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts across the university. My role is a little bit different than Dr. Patton's. You heard from Dr. Patton about the many programs that are more student focused. I oversee diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts across the university. That means that I get to work with multiple partners across the university on the student affairs side, on the academic affairs side, and everywhere in between. And so that is really important to us as a university, to build an infrastructure that really supports diversity, equity, and inclusion, so that we can build our capacity in terms of our representation across the board. We know that we don't look as diverse as we would like to, or we don't look as diverse as other institutions across California. But I will tell you that despite, the fact that you might not see the physical representation that we would like, there is such an interest. I don't know of any university in the nation that is doing what Cal Poly is doing in terms of supporting diversity on campus. You will feel that, you will see that, and you will see it from the programming that is being offered. You will hear it in the language that we use, the support that's being provided from multiple channels, student affairs primarily, but in other areas as well. Faculty are very, very much on board. And that's not always the case across many universities. Of course, you don't have 100%. Faculty are very interesting in that they kind of do their own thing, teach the way they would like to teach, and so you'll see some faculty focused more on diversity topics. We are trying to create more diversity, the inclusion of diversity in our curriculum. There's a lot of conversation about that across the board. So my job is really to align some of those efforts so that we really can leverage some of the great things that are happening in some departments, and that we learn what our best practices are, what's having a positive impact with our students and with our faculty and our staff. One of our biggest goals is to ensure that we really prepare our students well for the diversity that they're going to face when they go out and live and work in a world that is very diverse. And so we are focused on that. One of the programs that we have, we don't do a lot of programming in terms of direct student programs, but one of the programs that we inherited is called the Beacon program, which is a mentoring program between faculty and students, primarily students from traditionally underrepresented groups, to work on research projects and to be mentored at the same time. It's a program that's become very popular over the course of the last 3 years. We've increased the numbers of mentors and students who are interested in mentoring. Many of our students that have participated in that program have, I guess, gotten a taste of what research is like, have gone on to graduate programs where they could get to do more research, and it's been highly, highly successful. So I'm going to stop there and then answer any questions you might have as we proceed with our program. Thank you. I'm sorry that I don't get to see you face to face, but things are what they are, and I think this is a great way to connect with you, and that's the most important thing.
Thank you so much, Dr. De Leon, for sharing with us. And next up, we have from Career Services, Eileen Beaker, who is the Executive Director of Career Services.
Yes. Hi, welcome to this session. And I'm very excited that You may be joining us in the fall at Cal Poly. I oversee career services. I have a 20-member team, and we have the privilege of working with all 6 colleges. I saw a screen pop up. I can talk about that in a second. We have the privilege and honor of working with students in all majors in all 6 colleges. And we start working with you as early as your first year. I have a 3-member freshman focus team that will meet with you in groups and individually. They go into your classes and talk to you about self-assessment, career exploration, how to apply your majors to internships and jobs. We even go into the resume building and writing and introducing you to our different events and career fairs. From there, I have a career counselor for each college. So your first year, you work with my 3-member freshman focus team. And then when you become a sophomore, through your senior year and even beyond graduation, you'll have a career counselor specifically for your college. And again, they'll work with you from exploring options to resume building, interviewing, helping you with the internship, job search, and then graduate school search. Yes, and I can talk about the screen right now. I'm glad it popped up. And Jamie mentioned this earlier. So we have really, really good outcomes. We talk about learn by doing and being connected to the community, how well you've done in high school, how self-motivated you are. I want you to know as you continue on your path, there's lots of opportunities that'll come your way through career services as well as in your academic curriculum. But we partner with 25,000 companies. I have 10 career fairs a year. I typically have about 1,200 employers that come. 36% of the employer reps are Cal Poly alumni. I have about 10,000 alumni engaged each year helping with mentoring and recruiting you for jobs and internships. So Cal Poly is definitely a strong return on investment. You know, I hear about the really competitive statistics for you to arrive at Cal Poly, and I can tell you that I see the data after you graduate. And our graduates, our alumni do really, really well in the market. And as you can see on this chart, we average between 93 and 94% students positively engaged within 9 months of graduation. But a number that is not on here, oh, it is on here. 79% of our students get those jobs before graduation. And then you can see the other numbers. 95% of our students found positions or graduate school opportunities related to their major. So, and again, I want to emphasize that 100% of the students who are actually looking for jobs and employed secured those opportunities within 9 months of graduation. But I love the number that 90% secured the work before graduation. And we average about 16% of our students go on to graduate school straight right after they graduate. So we will help you with those opportunities as well. So I mentioned my career counseling team, but I also have an employer services team that is nurturing and developing relationships with employers from all different industries for majors in all 6 colleges. And we post more than 35,000 opportunities, jobs, internships, fellowships, part-time jobs on a system, our platform that's called Mustang Jobs. And you'll have access to that in the summer or this summer before you start Cal Poly. And you'll also have access to that for the rest of your life because we provide lifetime alumni services at no cost to the student or the alumni. So those are some highlights. I can answer questions at the end, but on behalf of my team, we very, very much look forward to working with you and supporting you in actualizing your dreams.
Thank you so much, Eileen. That was so great to hear more about career services and everything that you all do. And next up, we have Barbara Rowland, who is Senior Lead Counselor with our Financial Aid Office.
Hi, everybody. My name is Barbara Rowland, and I'm one of Cal Poly's financial 93. I grew up in San Diego and relocated here. Immediately began attending grad school, and I have a master's in counseling and guidance from Cal Poly. I also have 2 sons that have graduated with degrees from Cal Poly, and we are a very proud Cal Poly family. I thank you for inviting me today. This is really a first for me. So I've had my first Zoom meetings and now my first virtual reception in the last couple of weeks. But I'm really happy to be here with you to talk about financial aid. So the Financial Aid Office is, it will help you plan your finances and organize your resources to help you cover the cost of college. Financial aid is a resource that is designed to supplement the cost of education. It's not intended to be a sole means of income, but we are here. The types of aid that are available and the financial aid award amounts are subject to availability of funds, your enrollment status, as well as financial need. We want you to know that we are fully operational remotely, and we can be reached via email Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. If necessary, we're happy to arrange for a phone call or even a Zoom meeting. Our email address is financialaid@calpoly.edu, and we are very, very responsive and happy to answer questions. To receive financial aid each and every year, you will need to file either the FAFSA or the DREAM application starting October 1st, and the priority deadline each year is March 2nd. The FAFSA application will ask about income from 2 years prior. So for the fall of 2020, the application is asking about families' resources from the 2018 calendar year. To view your financial aid award, you'll look under the Money Matters tab. And then there's also a college financing plan, used to be called a shopping sheet, and it's designed to help you compare financial aid offers and make sense comparing them apples to apples. Prior to that, any college could create a financial aid award in their own desire, and it was really hard to figure out what exactly your what it all meant. And so this is designed to simplify things and help you compare financial aid offers from different universities. We offer several types of aid. We offer grants like the federal Pell Grant and Cal Grant. Grants don't need to be repaid. We also offer federal work study, which is a need-based financial aid employment program designed to help students work part-time while they're in school, while ultimately reducing the amount that they end up borrowing. If you're interested in work study and it's not currently a part of your financial aid award, you can ask by emailing financialaid@calpoly.edu to be placed on the waiting list. But there are lots and lots of jobs on campus, and like Eileen mentioned, Mustang Jobs is how students will search for work study jobs, part-time jobs, as well as internships and other opportunities. And that will be available to you. We ask that students begin searching right around beginning of September. There are lots and lots of job opportunities for students to work on campus. Another type of financial aid is Cal Poly scholarships. And the majority of scholarships have been awarded for our freshman class. And the academic excellence of our students exhausts our funds quickly. And that has nothing to do with the worthiness of our students being admitted. Scholarships do require that they be accepted on the portal if you can print out a financial aid award, which is also available on that portal, it'll provide information about the renewability of the scholarships and the other criteria associated with scholarships. Students who've been notified that they're eligible for a Cal Grant, we ask that they make a account on Web Grants for Students and indicate that Cal Poly is their #1 choice. They have to identify the school that they're attending. And once they do that, the Cal Grant will appear on the financial aid award within a couple of weeks, unless the student has been selected for a process called verification. And that is a process where we are verifying the accuracy of the information on the FAFSA or the DREAM application. Another component type of financial aid is called the Middle Class Scholarship, and that's available for students whose families in 2018 have total income and assets under 184,000. And those awards will not appear until September once we have sent an enrollment file to the California Student Aid Commission. Other type of financial aid are student loans or parent loans. The interest rate currently for student loans is 4.53%, and the interest rate on parent loans is 7.08%. There are 2 types of student loans, subsidized and unsubsidized. And the difference between the two is who's paying the interest while the student is in school. The government is paying the interest on the subsidized loan. So borrowing, if you borrow $3,500 now, when you're in repayment, you're repaying the $3,500. The loan has accrued interest, but it's been paid for by the Department of Ed, by the taxpayer, by the taxpayer. The last thing I'd like to talk briefly about is a change in your circumstance, especially here in 2020. What happens if the data that we're using, 2018 data, isn't an accurate portrayal of what your family can reasonably contribute to the cost of your education? And there is a process, we call it change of income or change in circumstances, and there's a form that's available. It will be available in June on the financial aid website. And we have the ability to, rather than using the 2018 income, we can use a projected 2020 year income, and we anticipate that many families will want to move through that process. Cal Poly does require that you provide documentation for the first 6 months of the year, and that's why the form isn't made available until June. But we're happy to work with you through that process. A couple of things we recommend is that you check Cal Poly email often, that you keep an eye on your to-do list and clear the items off of the to-do list, and then also recognize that if supporters, parents, grandparents want to speak with financial aid or student accounts about the specifics of their financial aid award or account, there is a privacy release, there's a privacy law called FERPA, and it stands for the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and it protects the student. And so in order for us to speak with a supporter, we have to have the permission of the student. And the student can do that by logging into their student center and clicking on the authorization to release link in their personal information center and provide the identity of the supporter. So I'm available for questions, and I thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to meet you in the fall.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for talking with us about financial aid, which we know is so important to so many students and families. And just as a quick reminder, before we introduce our last panelist, students, you are welcome to enter your questions in the chat starting now. And we have several admissions representatives that are available to start answering those, including our panelists as well. So if you do have any questions, based on any of the things you've heard so far, please feel free to ask those. And last but not least, we have our alumnus who is a graduate of Cal Poly. His name is Miguel Rios, and he received his bachelor's degree in Spanish from Cal Poly in 2017.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Miguel, Cal Poly alumni class of 2017. Like Mandy said, I did graduate with my Bachelor of Arts in Spanish, and I currently work at Cal Poly in the admissions office as an admissions officer. So for me, one of Cal Poly's strengths always that attracted me was its learn by doing philosophy, and the way that it was emphasized in all the orientations I went, the campus tours. Everyone really made me believe that learn by doing was something that Cal Poly really took pride in. But coming in as a Spanish major, I didn't really know what learn by doing may look like. So I was a little hesitant coming into Cal Poly for that reason. But once I got going with the classes I was taking, every single class I took within my major had some form of learn by doing component to their curriculum. And also every class that I took outside of my major, all the general education courses I took, they were for the most part, they all had some form of learn by doing component to their curriculum. So I was really glad that I ended up choosing Cal Poly for that reason, because it really did help me for my career. Some examples of learn by doing parts that we had in our curriculum. For one of my Spanish classes, I got to help one of the local companies in downtown SLO translate their website to Spanish. So that helped me with translating skills tremendously. And it also helped with networking. I got to meet important people in the area. And so those translating skills are translating skills that I still use in my job today, helping translate documents into Spanish for a Cal Poly admissions office. So it was really tremendous for me. Another example is we got to work with the local elementary school, and I got to tutor students in kindergarten through 5th grade in their ESL classes, English as a second language. I got to tutor students in bilingual classes for their reading, writing, math, science. So that really got me more involved with the Spanish-speaking community in San Luis Obispo. And so again, that kind of led me to this career into wanting to keep helping students kind of navigate what their post high school plans would look like, and showing those K through 5 students that you can go to college and this is what college looks like. And I was also involved with this program within the College of Liberal Arts that was dedicated to first generation students. And so it was, there was a mentor and a mentee type of relationship. And we just kind of, throughout the year, we helped each other out with skills and navigating this new campus that most freshman students are kind of struggling to adjust to. And so that mentorship piece is really what led me to want to pursue graduate school after Cal Poly. And so after Cal Poly, I did go to the University of San Diego, and I graduated with my Master of Arts in Higher Education Leadership. And really because of that mentorship piece, I wanted to continue to develop mentorship across the Hispanic community. And so coming back to Cal Poly, back to my roots, it was really an awesome experience to kind of have that full circle moment for me to really show students what it is to be a college student and how to get to, or to not to be discouraged from any obstacles they may have. And so yeah, Cal Poly, I know we talk a lot about learn by doing a lot. I know I just did too, but I also want to emphasize that Cal Poly also prepares you super well for graduate school. So with so many research projects, research methodology to really get you into all sorts of areas post-graduation. So If you want to go to grad school, Cal Poly will prepare you well enough for grad school. If you want to get a job right after graduation, Cal Poly will prepare you well enough for that as well. So Cal Poly really does prepare you well enough for any path you want to take after your graduation. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here. And if you have any questions about the Cal Poly student experience or what it's like to be an alumni of Cal Poly, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Miguel, for sharing about your Cal Poly experience. And now we get to open it up to questions from the audience. So we do want to make sure that we give some time to answer all of your specific questions. So if you have any question that you've come up with during this presentation that's important to you, please feel free to enter it in the chat at this time. And what we will do is I will read it out loud and we will have our panelists answer it for you. So go ahead and fire away those questions. We have about 10 minutes left for our question and answers.
Hello, this is Derek Salgado. Can you hear me?
Hi, Derek. Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm a parent and I would like to know some information about the VA specifically for financial aid. So I guess this question would be for Ms. Barbara Rawlins. And I would like to know specifically, do you guys work with Chapter 35?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, this is Barbara. Yes, we do. So my husband is retired military, and my two students used both the post 9/11 GI Bill as well as the CalVet fee waiver, and then subsequently the Dependents Educational Assistance Program to help pay for college. So there is a wonderful Veterans Center on campus that will guide you through the process. And
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My question was specifically with, you know, how there's different chapters for VA education. So the ones you mentioned were, I believe, Chapter 31 or 33. My question is specifically with Chapter 35, which is dependent of 100% disabled vet.
Yes, so the way that that program works is it waives the state tuition fee, which is $5,742 per academic year. And so essentially, so my language for that would be the CalVet fee waiver. Is that what you're speaking to?
No, it's a different, still a GI Bill, but it's
Okay.
Chapter 35, yes. So there's different chapters for the VA GI Bill. Like I said, there's Chapter 31 and 33, which is the before 9/11 and the post 9/11. But Chapter 35 is specifically for dependents of 100% disabled vets, which covers full tuition, and the student gets a payment coming their way as well. So I wanna know if you guys work with that, or if my daughter can apply for that.
I don't believe it pays tuition. I believe it pays a monthly stipend, which was about $1,400 a month.
Right, if the student is full-time, right? Correct?
Yes, if the student is full-time. And yes, my son did use that benefit.
Okay.
So in addition to that, your student would qualify for the CalVet fee waiver, which waives the state tuition fee.
Okay.
Which is the $5,742. And the two can be used in conjunction with one another.
Okay, because my daughter applied for FAFSA as well. So are we going to be able to combine with FAFSA as well?
Yes. However, if your daughter is receiving Cal Grant or State University Grant, those two grants pay the state tuition fee, and your benefit waives the fee. So you can't have the grant if you're not paying the fee. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And
right.
how do we go about filling that out and applying? I know you mentioned the web grants for students. So we have to go online and put all that information in there.
So you're going to request Chapter 35 through the VA.
Okay.
And the the California Veteran Service Officer will do the fee waiver, will help you with the fee waiver.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you so much for your questions. And students, if you have questions, continue to add those to the chat, because even if we don't say them out loud, we have several staff members that are answering those chat questions. So please feel free to enter those in the chat and we will have someone answer those for you. So our next question, and I believe this was directed towards Barbara as well, was about the Cal Poly Scholars Award. I think she answered it in the chat, but when do you have to accept? Can you accept it only once you've accepted your admission?
So the Cal Poly Scholars Award, we don't ask students to accept free money. So students would have to accept if they received some kind of a Cal Poly institutional scholarship or loans, but the Cal Poly, just like the Pell Grant and the Cal Grant, they're awarded in an already accepted fashion.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for that. And the next question is from Cade. We have a question that says, if you're in the 2-year housing program due to your major, are you able to opt out your 2nd year if you find a place to live off campus? So do any of our other panelists have any information they'd like to share on this? So if nobody has any feedback on that, I'll just let you know, Cade, this is actually new as of this year. A couple of our academic colleges are starting to require that 2-year housing program to live on campus. So generally that is a requirement for year 1 and year 2, starting this year for specific majors only. So if you are in one of the majors that requires that, you would want to contact your academic college if you have any type of special circumstance, but at this time, we've been informed that it is a minimum 2-year requirement to live on campus. Then we'll scroll through here. We have a question from Christian to the group. How does Cal Poly prepare students hoping to attend medical school as opposed to any of the UC schools?
Yeah, so for that, Cal Poly actually has a great advising team dedicated to pre-health. And you don't have to be a specific major to be part of that pre-health advising team. You could be any major in Cal Poly and still have access to that pre-health advising team that falls under the College of Science and Math. So they will definitely help you out with any questions you may have. If you're curious about pre-health, pre-med, anything you may have, and to help you make sure that you take the courses you need to have all those course requirements prior to getting into those schools.
Yes, and I uploaded the website link for that office, so you can check that out. Also, faculty do a good job with mentoring students, and career services will support students as well. What's really nice about Cal Poly is the faculty, the advising, the career counseling, the pre-health center, we all work together. We serve on committees together to ensure that we're sharing accurate information with all the students.
Thank you so much, Eileen. And our next question, I see a couple of questions about changing a major or adding a minor. So who would like to speak to that process overall? Can you change your major? Can you add a minor? Is it difficult to do?
I can talk in general. So there is a Mustang Success Center. They are set up to work with first years and sophomores, specifically with academic advising and majors. Also, my freshman focus team within career services supports students with giving them the correct information to change majors and explore career options, and they work with the academic advisors. It really depends, though, upon the major. So as you all know, that when you're applying to Cal Poly, you're applying to specific majors. So there are opportunities to change, but there are requirements that you would probably need. You work with the academic advisors, but you can also go to the different major websites or talk to the advisors in the colleges about that. So it varies by college and major. And, you know, some of our majors, it's very, very, very competitive to get into, as you know. It's similar with transferring into those programs. So you have to have the right grades, courses, skill set to make that happen, but it is a possibility.
Great, thank you so much, Eileen. And I do see quite a few more questions coming in, so I'm going to try to sort through these here. It seems like our staff have answered most of these in the chat. So again, if you have a specific question, feel free to add those to the chat. If Dr. De Leon or Dr. Patton would like to answer the question, talking a little bit about EOP versus Cal Poly Scholars, what those differences are for those programs, and also what kinds of services do they provide?
Yes, I can jump in. Those are two excellent programs. EOP has been around for nearly 50 years here at Cal Poly Scholars versus Cal Poly Scholars is a newer program. Both of them have many similar components where you're going to have access not only to additional financial aid, but addition to one-on-one or small group mentoring, peer mentoring programs. You're going to have access to staff and potentially some additional tutoring that are rolling into the whole campus. Specifically, what I like about both of those programs, which are very similar, is that we do have staff that are dedicated to work with you within a small group. So you will be one of, say, 20 or 30 students that will be assigned to either a peer mentor or a full-time staff member that is essentially creating a net that will work for you here at Cal Poly to get you connected with the different services that you may need, get you connected with the cross-cultural centers, or get you connected with the Disability Resource Center, or even going in to visit the Health and Wellbeing Center. They're going to be in tune and very amped to help you make deeper connections. In addition to both of those programs have a living learning component to them, so you will be able to live with students who are part of those programs as well in a tight-knit community. So there will be extra programming within the residence hall where you live at, down in the different lounges, again, to help make you create a network to see you thrive here at Cal Poly. So either one of those two programs, I'm definitely an advocate for you being a part of them. And actually, I just learned that you could be actually dual enrolled in both of those programs. So you can have double the fun, double the mentors.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patton, for that feedback on EOP and CP Scholars. And so we are getting a couple of follow-up questions on EOP. So if our admissions representatives could post the links to EOP, TRIO Achievers, and CP Scholars for students who may need it into the chat, that would be wonderful. So we'll go ahead and send you some more resources there. So just to honor everyone's time, we are getting ready to about wrap up the end of our program here. So let's give a couple of just those closing questions for the panelists. So let's focus this one on Cal Poly student and alumnus Miguel and our current student Gabriela. If you could tell us each just a brief answer on why did you choose Cal Poly and what makes Cal Poly so unique? And Gabriela, we can start with you if you'd like. Oh, here we go. I unmuted you.
So when I got accepted to Cal Poly, I was like, it was between here and Cal State Long Beach. And I was just unsure of like where to go. And I kind of just based it off of my major and what would benefit me in the future and like in the long run. So I decided to go to Cal Poly because when Mandy did come visit me at my high school, she emphasized that Cal Poly was a learn by doing school. So I did my research and I figured that Cal Poly, being a bio major, that would benefit me in the long run. and employers, when I did graduate, they'd see that I had that experience, and they do seek out Cal Poly students because of the Learn by Doing that we have. And so I feel like I made a right choice for my future in employers being able to choose Cal Poly students.
Thank you so much, Gabriela, for sharing that. That's so special and so exciting, especially since I was able to visit you at your high school. It's great to see you here on campus. So just to close it up, to give everyone else on our panel a chance to kind of close it and really share with us what is so special about Cal Poly to you, and what is your biggest selling point for these students and families listening in. If you could just say, what is the biggest selling point you think that most students and families should be thinking about when they're deciding why should they choose Cal Poly? So we can go ahead and start with Eileen and then move down the line if that works.
Yes. From my perspective and own Learn by Doing experiences at Cal Poly, I have so much fun and joy with working with the students and the employers. There are so many opportunities to identify jobs and internships with alumni, with employers, through our online resources, on-campus interviews. I mentioned earlier the return on investment is key, but I think as you're earning your degree there and you're engaged in Cal Poly and you're making all these connections, it really is a lifelong investment, because when I work with alumni, they come back and they want to mentor and give you jobs and internships and advocate for you. It's just really a beautiful experience academically, socially, professionally. It's just a great place for it all to come together for you to manifest your dreams. And I get to see that every day.
Thank you so much, Eileen. And now we'll go ahead and ask Dr. Patton to share with us as well.
Oh, wow. I mean, trying to narrow it down, and thank you, Eileen. She said it very well. She gave me time to think about it. But trying to pick just one reason why Cal Poly is the best CSU, and why, again, you worked hard to have this opportunity. One is, again, like I talked about, the Learn by Doing, so the attention and the access to our faculty and staff that are interested to see you and seeing you succeed. In addition, I will say that I think Cal Poly is trending in the right direction with regard to diversity, equity, and inclusion, where I really believe that all of our faculty, staff, and our students are willing and have an interest, many of them, in making this place a better place, making this a place where everyone feels like they belong and everyone knows that they belong here at Cal Poly. So I think we're really starting to do some good work around that diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I think that's more of a reason, again, to join this Mustang family.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patton. Now we'll give Dr. De Leon a chance to share her thoughts as well.
I'm in agreement that there's so many things, and the things that I've heard, I absolutely agree with. I think that Cal Poly is really a special place. I'm really impressed with our students that come here. And I think, you know, having an opportunity to engage with students who are not only really smart, but really enthusiastic about, you know, coming to Cal Poly and the work that they're doing. And I mean, it's just, our students are great, but so are our faculty and staff. People care. And I think that you don't find that everywhere. You're not just, you know, a number. You're not just someone that appeared at the door at Cal Poly. People really care about you. It's a special place. We're always striving to be better. And of course, the Learn by Doing philosophy is, you know, many people try to do Learn by Doing. I will say that Cal Poly does it the best.
That was great. Thank you so much, Dr. De Leon. Thank you all. And last but not least, we have Barbara from Financial Aid, if you'd like to share with us your thoughts on that as well.
Well, remember, I'm a Cal Poly proud parent as well as Cal Poly proud alumni. So I've had two in addition to myself, many years ago going through the graduate program, but I had my oldest son graduated with a degree in business in 2014. He was immediately hired by a local company called Mind Body, where he still works today and is doing very well. And most recently, my youngest graduated in the fall and with a degree in natural resource management. And absolutely, all three of us have loved the Learn by Doing and every minute of our time at Cal Poly.
Thank you so much, Barbara. We appreciate you sharing with us as well. So as much as we want to stay and hang out with all of you, we'll go ahead and just give you some final dates and deadlines and share with you just a few last selling points before we let you all go. This might be towards the end of the presentation, but remember, this is not the end. We are more than happy to answer questions and stay in touch with all of you. So again, feel free to ask those questions in the chat box as I'm kind of giving you this closing information, and we do have staff available to answer those. So thank you so much to all of our panelists who took the time to be here and share with you their Cal Poly experiences and the reason that they love Cal Poly so much. We really appreciate you being here with us tonight. So just as a closing to this, I want to give you a few important dates and deadlines. So one key thing that you probably heard from Barbara and maybe from admissions emails as well is to make sure to keep checking that My Cal Poly portal and your student checklist regularly. Anything that we need from you, including final transcripts, test scores, any additional things that we would need would be posted onto that checklist on the My Cal Poly portal. So make sure to keep an eye on that, and also check your email. Every email we send you is unique. It's going to have different information. So one might be talking about housing information. The next email might be talking about your orientation that's upcoming. So please do check those for your dates and deadlines as well. So the biggest deadline that's coming up soon is our May 1st acceptance deadline. So students, I really hope that you and your families have fallen in love with Cal Poly the way that we all have, and that you do want to come join the Mustang family. And we hope that's the case, but you do have until May 1st to accept your offer on the My Cal Poly portal. So go ahead and make sure to do that by the May 1st acceptance deadline. It is free to do. I like to let our students know that there is no confirmation deposit, which means you pay $0 to accept your Cal Poly offer. So that's a great perk. Also, your housing and orientation applications are due by May 7th. So you do need to sign up for orientation. That is required. We have a two-part orientation. During the summer, we have slow days during July and early August. You have multiple dates to choose from for slow days. It's a 2-day program during the summer. And then we have our WOW Week, which stands for Week of Welcome, which happens in late or mid-September. So you will need to sign up for both slow days and WOW Week. And housing, you also need to sign up by May 7th as well. So please don't forget to get that housing application submitted. As a quick reminder, you can only apply for housing once you have accepted your offer of admission. So once you accept, give it about a day or so to refresh, and then that housing application should populate. You should also have an orientation events tab as well. So go ahead and check all of that out in the My Cal Poly portal. And then also, for student move-in, if you do come to Cal Poly, your move-in date will be September 11th and 12th for newly admitted students. And our week of welcome begins September 13th through the 20th. And our first official day of classes is September 17th. So that is it in terms of your dates and deadlines. So one last thing I wanted to mention about Cal Poly, it really is a gorgeous area. It's a nationally ranked institution, ranked #1 for public master's level universities in the whole western region of the United States by US World and News Report. That ranking has been held by Cal Poly for 27 years, and the community is amazing. One thing that stands out about Cal Poly is the people. The people are so kind and genuine, and they just want to support you. And that goes for the staff, the students, the faculty. Everybody here just cares, and they want to see you succeed. So really that is the biggest selling point for me. It was the people. I absolutely love the community that we're surrounded by. So that's my little tidbit and why I love Cal Poly so much. So again, I hope you'll keep in touch. I am your personal admissions officer for your region for the Central Valley. So feel free to keep in touch, email me. I am working virtually, telecommuting, so you are more than welcome to send me your questions via email if we didn't get to those tonight. And at this time, I'd like to invite our panelists, if you feel comfortable, to enter your name, department, and email as well, so that students can email you or potentially your department. You can go ahead and type that in the chat if you feel comfortable to do that. And then also students, just make sure to send any questions that you have following this directly to me or the admissions office as well. And we are happy to help you with that. So in closing, we just want to say thank you to all of our students. Thank you to all of our parents for attending. And we hope that you will come join the Mustang family. And also one last thing I did want to mention, we're going to go ahead and leave this presentation open for about 5 more minutes, give or take, so that our students can download those documents. So if our admissions team can upload the documents for our students, including housing document, orientation document, financial aid document, that way our students and families can download those resources before they leave the chat. That would be very helpful. So students, feel free to stay logged on, download those documents from the chat before you log out. All right, with that, everyone have a wonderful night, and hopefully we'll see you in the fall. Good night, everybody.